The guru of chill here to help the world just relax and chill a minute. My God, quit getting so uptight. You got motherfucking stick up everybody's asses. Just relax, man. Like, my God, just sit back and chill for a second. Man, we ain't got nowhere to be, nothing to do. That's what mindfulness is all about. Mindfulness is all about being able to chill, to be able to enjoy the moment you're in, to be able to enjoy the body you're animating, to be able to enjoy the taste of the food for the first time, to be able to enjoy the touch of a lover for the first time, to be able to enjoy whatever. But it's about, in true mindfulness, there's nowhere to be, nothing to do. There is no next. My heartbeat, if every one of you could come really sink into that realization and just be in that place where there truly is no next. And let me to kind of reiterate what we were talking about, what Kevin and I are joking back and forth about, is that is timeless. When there is no next, guess what? You've entered into a timeless zone. You know what I mean? You are ageless, you are timeless. When there is no next, you are absolutely timeless, guys. The ageless wonder. It'll completely take the edge off. It'll completely remove the aging process. Will slow down so dramatically because worry and stress and all of that stuff is gone. Go ahead, Kevin.
I will say, it throws people for a loop. They cannot perceive it. They do not know how to handle it. I mean, it's neither a good thing or a bad thing to them. They're just dumbfounded. I have no idea where their mind goes. Find out I'm 60. I don't know. It's just funny, the reaction. This guy from France texted me, and he must have seen some of my posts. He goes, "How old are you?" And so I don't mind telling him. Sometimes I lie because if I tell certain people, they'll run.
Oh yeah.
I need to adjust my age every now and then, but with him I didn't care. I said 60, and he just dropped. He just disappeared.
Yeah, I tell people I'm 28, right, Beth?
Yeah. 28, yeah. That's good.
33, 28. You can tell people you're whatever age, because the truth is we're not an age, so it doesn't matter what age you come up with. If you ask my kids, how old is your dad? My kids will probably tell you, Dad is not an age. But if you ask the kids, how old is your dad's body? They'll tell you a certain age. Because who we are, what we are, doesn't age. Isn't an age. It isn't time. It isn't time-based. So sinking into that place, Stephanie, where there is no next is timeless. So you start to move over into this eternal realm, the place where the Isaiah says God abides. He abides in eternity. And this is the place that you actually abide. This is your nature. Your nature is that eternal nature, that eternal abiding. We've lived in these bodies, and these bodies are always looking for what's next. Always thinking. The mind is always thinking what's next. And so mindfulness is the art or the practice of bringing the mind's attention to the single nature, single-mindedness, to oneness. So you actually learn how to bring that mind's attention where you want it instead of allowing it to dictate to you. So, do you want your mind functioning out of a timeless place where you're just imperfect, where your mind's at peace and at rest? Or do you want your mind stressing and worrying and anxious and busy? Now, that's a no-brainer. I don't know anyone that would say, yes, I choose the latter of the two. I don't know anyone that would choose stress and anxiety. But I will say this. They still so often do. And so I'm happy that you guys are here because you're making the choice not to. You're here and you're making the choice. I'm not choosing worry and stress and anxiety and fear. I'm choosing joy and peace and love and ecstasy and euphoria and fucking good shit. Right? I'm going to have to up the ante to keep you guys on edge. You guys are too used to me. I got to up the ante. I told Beth, I said, the same 4 people are showing up every week, so I got to up the ante. I got to start upping the ante. Next week, I'm teaching naked. See, that didn't even shock you guys. Nothing works with you guys anymore. Damn it. I'll figure something out to keep you guys on the edge of your seat. Shoot. So yeah, mindfulness though, like true mindfulness, and whether you're doing sitting meditation or whether you're doing walking meditation, the things that we've talked about already, whether you're doing the sensual touch exercises, they all have one thing in common. And that one thing that they all have in common is this: there is no next. The one thing that every mindfulness exercise has in common with every other mindfulness exercise that I will ever give you is there is no next. And there is no next brings your mind, you are the eternal nature that abides. Your mind has been programmed to live in time, in linear psychological time. Mindfulness is reprogramming the mind to enter into the timeless state, to enter into the abiding state of presence and so whereas the mind always is looking for what's next, mindfulness is about being present where there is no next. Now, this seems, if I'm telling you guys this now, I'm going to clarify a couple of things, because I actually have people in these classes that don't show up, but they're actually paying for these classes. I don't understand it. I'm not sure if I'm talking to you now, those of you that pay for these classes and don't show up. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't even know if you watch the recordings. Maybe you just want to send us some cash or something. It's all good. But if you do watch the recordings, this is for you. If you showed up, I'd be able to talk to you directly. Because you don't, I'm just talking to these folks, okay? So, anyway. Because some people actually are new. I've never met them. I don't even know who they are. But they're paying for classes. And so when I talk to you guys, I've known you guys for long enough. I talk to you guys in a whole different way that I would talk to if there was new people in the class. There would be whole different conversations opened up as a result, right? If I were to say, like I just said, I'm teaching next week naked, they would be like, oh, but you guys didn't even bat an eye. You didn't even barely smile. Kevin laughed. But other than that, everybody else is just like, oh, well, it's just Silas. Who knows if he actually do it or not? We don't know. And it's, it's
quite. I laughed not out of shock, out of pure ecstasy and joy.
Kevin's like, yes! Teach class naked! Do you remember when a couple years ago I was having women show up to class topless? Yeah, remember that?
They what now? What was that?
No, remember they were showing up to class? They were coming online topless?
Oh yeah, somewhere, yeah.
I think it was only 2. I think there was only 2 that did it, but It was hysterical. I thought it was hilarious. And then camera would be right here, but they would always make sure that they stood up and like got their breasts in the shot. And I was like, maybe this is a way that we can get more people to show up to classes. We just started to get more women coming to class topless, then everybody would, it'd be like, hey, I want to come to these classes. These classes are awesome. I think it would backfire. I think it would be a massive backfire if I was teaching the class naked, though. I think that wouldn't work out as well. And Dee's like, yes. Dee's like, yes. Dee's like, I'm not coming.
I mean, based on what happens when you do a side hug. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. No, stories are going to be...
We should have topless classes.
All right, lead the way, Dean. Anyway, I thought it was funny. When you're not a body... But the hysterical thing was this... if you really, and this isn't about mindfulness, I'm going to come right back to mindfulness. If you recognize that you're not a body, that doesn't offend you. That stops offending you. Like in some way we have this idea like there is appropriate and inappropriate, and that's inappropriate to show up to a spiritual class naked or topless. Like that's inappropriate. And the reason why we feel that it's inappropriate is because we stand in such self-judgment. We judge ourselves so strongly, and that if somebody else is doing something that you would only deem it inappropriate because you could never see yourself doing that. That would be wrong. That's bad. That's not something that you do. Anyway, that all comes from identifying as the body. It's all fear-based. I don't care whether people come to class naked or clothed. It doesn't make any difference to me. Could it possibly distract people? Yes. It could quite possibly distract some people. Beth's like, yes, it distracts me. I got beads. Some people might be distracted by that. I have had to have this conversation with Kaylee many times because she was like, man, I just want to be naked in class. And I was like, fine, Kaylee, be naked. But just realize that there are certain classes that aren't ready. Like there are certain people, like if new people show up to class and you're naked, they might not hear a word I say. They might just be glued to the TV. They might not hear what I'm saying. You might distract them, just so you know, because not everybody's where I could care less. I wouldn't even notice. I would notice at first. I'd be like, Kaylee's naked, and then it'd be over. I wouldn't even notice anymore. Okay, so, but my point is that shame, fear, guilt, this inappropriate, appropriate idea is purely societal. That's my only point. And fuck that shit. So, Beth, if you want to be topless, be topless. I got beads. I got Mardi Gras beads, Beth. I'll give you the good ones. Just kidding. She didn't even do that at Mardi Gras. She didn't even flash anybody at Mardi Gras. I was like, dang it. All right, moving right along. Back to mindfulness. Mindfulness is there is no next, right? And this is one of the reasons why I can go so long on a rabbit trail talking about complete nonsense, is because there's no next for me. Y'all didn't even think that was funny. That was meant to be a joke. Beth doesn't like my jokes recently. Every time I say something that I think is funny and nobody responds, I look right at Beth and Beth's just shaking her head. It's pretty hysterical. She's my comic relief. I just look at her. Wow, look at that hair. Oh, that's it. That's swag. So, how many of your minds work that way, where your minds work and you're thinking, for instance, tonight, how many of you have already thought about what your day is going to look like tomorrow? What about when you go to bed at night? Do you think about what your day is going to look like? When you wake up in the morning, what's your first thing you do? That's good. So, a lot of people. So would you say you are more than ever not existing with the next? More than you ever have before? For a lot of people, they tell me that's not practical. They say, Silas, we don't just chill all day like you. It's not practical. The thing is, like I took on some side work as a handyman just for fun. Not for really any, I mean, a little extra cash here and there too, but just for fun, just to get me out of the house, because I've had more time just of, like I've got time. It's just fun. It was just something I wanted to do. So I picked up some jobs. It's actually called handy.com. The website is really sexual, it sounds like. It sounds like I should be just going around giving hand jobs or something, but I'm not. I'm fixing things. I haven't given one hand job on a job yet. Not one. Not that I remember. So, handy.com. Anyway, I'm just doing like some handyman work. I was talking to a guy recently and he was like, he said, what's your specialty? And I said, man, I don't really have a specialty. And he's like, well, what, like around the house, what do you enjoy doing? What's the things you enjoy doing the most? And I was like, whatever I'm presently doing is the thing I enjoy the most. And he just goes, side look, like what in the world? This is something that I live. It doesn't matter whether I have a schedule to adhere to, whether I have a bunch of sessions, live coaching sessions, one-on-ones, mentorship sessions, whether I've got jobs, for instance, with handy.com. Like, just so for those of you that don't know, yes, I am chilling all day, whether I'm working or not. Like what most people would call work, I'm just chilling. If you were to ask me, what are you doing? I'm just chilling, man. Like I'm just hanging out. The other day I drove 2 hours to go do a couple jobs and it was like, just because I wanted to go, well, driving 2 hours to there and back, so 4 hours total of driving just to do a couple jobs to make $100 or something. Like it's barely worth it, right? No, I was just chilling. It was just good. It was fun. It was pretty drive. Woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go, and it was just like just to do it. I just felt to do it, so I did it. Most people don't function that way. Now I realize that, like some of us live in a certain system and that you're not necessarily able just to break completely free of that system. I've been really proud of Stephanie. Stephanie has taken van trips that have lasted, how long was your longest trip?
30 days.
30 days. So she's taken like a month to just cruise around in her van. That's awesome, man. And so like even just when you just think financially, if you were to just think about it financially, unless you're doing massages while you're on the road, unless you think about it, like if you think about it financially, like you're spending money, nothing's coming in for a month, just taking a month off, right? Just take a month off and go. And I've lived that way for a long, long time. I've existed that way for a long, long time. But for most of humanity, that seems absolutely absurd. Unless you're just sitting on a ton of money, that seems absurd. Just think, I've got responsibilities, I've got family, I've got work, I've got whatever. Stephanie doesn't have all of the same responsibilities as other people, right? She doesn't have children that she has to manage and watch out for. She's got her little puppy dog who's her sidekick, right? That's your baby. But he's your side. She's not enrolled in school. So she gets to come with you. You don't have to worry about babysitters, right?
Too smart for that.
I know, right? She's way too smart for that stuff. And so, so it's really cool. I'm just saying this to say I'm proud of you, because I remember having the conversation with you when you were just talking about getting a van, and it was a stretch. You were like, I don't know if I should do it. And you were like pulling your hair out just over trying to make the decision. And I was like, just like, if you do it, great. Like relax. Just, if you want to do it, just do it.
Well, I remember saying, well, what if I make a mistake? And you said, what's the mistake? and that kind of is like, well, if I feel that maybe I shouldn't have bought it, sell it. But it was just progression after that.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
And now, like, it's not like to think about going and doing a trip. It's like no big deal. Like, hey, this is awesome. Like, you look forward to it. What is. And so it's just cool anyway. I'm proud of you just to watch the changes and the things that have happened in your life. It's exciting to me to see. And but what's the coolest to me is when I see people that are still in some sort of work capacity. They have some sort of responsibility somewhere, and yet they're truly existing as if there is no next. So they're not married to anything. In other words, I don't have to go to work. I tell people all the time, if you have to go to work, you're a slave. You're a prostitute just like anyone else. You're working for money. I don't care whether you're selling your mind or your body, you're still working for money. You're a prostitute. If I have to show up to this class, I'm just as much a prostitute as the lady that's giving her pussy out for $10. I'm just as much a... Laura shook her head at me. Are you not used to hearing the word pussy? If in certain places, that's not abnormal. If you go to East St. Louis for 10 or 15 bucks, it's not unheard of. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be a little skanky, but it's not unheard of, okay? So I have been with them. Not been with them like that, but I've been with them. Just keeping you on the edge of your seat. And for you new people, if you don't know and you think that this is whatever, then you could come to class and talk to me. So, the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because to exist where there is a next, in some way you're still selling yourself short. You're still continually looking for the next thing. So your mind is going. If your mind is going to the next thing, you're going to experience some sort of worry, some sort of fear, some sort of insecurity, etc., etc. There's an enormous difference, Laura, between having a narrative that you're enjoying in your mind, creating some narrative that you're enjoying in your mind, and then projecting that. Like I've talked to you about, if you're going to create a narrative, enjoy it in that moment, but don't project it. That is something that very few people that I know are capable of really doing, because when if you create a storyline in your head, especially if it's with like another person, almost every time you try to project that, your mind will project that into that next experience. It just does. If I have a storyline about Beth, for years, I was so frustrated with her. She used to be stressed out and anxious and had it wasn't a lot of fun for me. And she would yell at the kids sometimes, and I was like, to be honest, I created a whole storyline about her, and this is just what she does. And every time she did it, I would just roll my eyes. I'm like, well, here we go again. This is just Beth. And my storyline about Beth was that this is just who she was. But I was always trying to convince her to be somebody else, while simultaneously in my mind believing she never would do it. And I didn't see the contradiction. Do you see how that story, and the crazy thing is the storyline completely kept me from being able to enjoy her. And it kept me from being able to speak into her true existence. And it wasn't until I was able to start dropping that storyline that I was able to start enjoying Beth again and start seeing beyond the stress and the things that she was experiencing, because those things weren't her. And I would tell her that. I would be frustrated by it while telling her, this isn't you. And it's only in the moment when you're no longer frustrated by it that you can really speak into somebody's life like that. Like, this isn't you. Like, if you want to be stressed out, if you want to be anxious, if you want to be frustrated, you can be. It's fine with me. I'm going to love you the exact same way. But this isn't you. So, learning to exist without a next is really big. So, what I want you guys to do is, and I want you to recognize that every one of our experiences, every one of our mindfulness exercises and practices exists to bring you away from the next. Exists to help you train your mind to be present, to train your mind to live without the next, to exist here without the next. So you guys have been practicing walking meditation. When you practice walking meditation, you're taking a step just to take a step. You're not taking a step to practice walking meditation. You're not like, okay, I've only got 10 more steps. So typically if when people first start to meditate, they first start to practice sitting meditation, if they're looking at a clock, so they're like, okay, I got to do this for 20 minutes. And they sit down. Yeah, exactly, Stephanie. They're popping one eye open. They're looking at the clock. How long has it been? Oh, shit, it's only been 10 minutes. I got 10 more minutes of this. And they're counting. So they're not actually breathing just to breathe. The point of sitting meditation is to breathe just to breathe. To sit just to sit. There is no next. So I'm here. That's the reason why the mindfulness bell is so helpful. Set a timer so that you're not. And every time your mind wants to go to the next, like how if your mind says, I've only got 10 more minutes, that's your mind going to the next, right? Going to what's next. And so in the point of walking meditation, you're taking a step just to take a step. You're kissing the earth. You are releasing peace in every single step. This is a beautiful, intimate, powerful experience. That's what it's meant to be. But if you're thinking in terms of what's next, I've got to get all the way to that tree, then all of a sudden you're not actually doing a walking meditation anymore. I had a guy message me today and he said, I meditate, but every time I meditate I fall asleep. He said, do you have any tips for me? I said, well, first of all, you're not meditating. And he goes, oh, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you're falling asleep, you're not meditating. If you're falling asleep, you're letting your mind just wander, and that's the reason why you're falling asleep. Meditation is about honing your mind, controlling your mind, bringing your mind into an awareness. So if you're falling asleep, you're not actually meditating. You're just sitting down somewhere. You know, like you're just sitting down. So let's start there. Let's actually start there. Let's realize you haven't actually meditated yet. Walking meditation is really cool. You're taking a step just to take a step. Breathing just to breathe. Stepping just to step. And it's really actually a very beautiful thing. The best part is that your mind is slowly letting go of the need to get somewhere. The feeling of needing to get somewhere is the whole next. When you get in the car to go, where are you going? You're going here. Going to the store. Your mind knows. When you go to get in the car, you're not just getting in the car to go nowhere, right? Beth never could understand. Sometimes I'll get in Molly, just drive. Sometimes I'll get on my motorcycle and I'll just go. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going. And when I end up wherever I end up, that's how I just end up there. And she had a hard time. Well, where are you going? And she wanted to know. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going. No agenda. Just going. Just to go. No place to be. How many times have you gotten in the car to go somewhere, but you had nothing in mind, nowhere in mind to go recently? Is that a common experience for you guys? No. When you get in your mode of transportation, you're getting in that mode of transportation, whether that's a bicycle, a moped, or a dump truck, you're getting in that mode of transportation to get from point A to point B. You have a destination in mind, right? That's how most people exist. Very few people just go, randomly go. You have a point of destination in mind. Now, how can we travel from point A to point B and turn our minds away from what's next? You see, if you have nowhere to be, then you're always where you're at. So when we're driving on vacation, or we're going somewhere, especially on vacation, or we're going on a trip with the family, whatever that might look like, if they're all vacations, right? And the kids are like, when are we going to get there? I'm like, here we are! We've made it! And that's not even funny to them. They're like, Dad, it's so stupid. They roll their eyes, they get upset. Typically. They don't, not always. But they're like, a lot of times they actually ignore me now. They're just, no, seriously, Dad, when are we going to get there? No, and I'm like, no, seriously, we're here right now. Now, I fully realize that we're traveling from point A to point B. We have a destination in mind. But I also have trained my mind to be here in this present moment. And I'm not in a rush to get there, because you should never get in a rush to be where you cannot be. You can only be where you are. Your mind is trying to be somewhere that it's not. But you can never be somewhere that you're not. You can only be where you are. Does this make sense? Try. If it doesn't, you need to let me know. Because while this might seem like a psychological game, it's actually really powerful shit. Like, this is powerful stuff that will really revolutionize your existence. To simply, to be able to move from point A to point B, to be able to go somewhere you're going to work, and to stop getting in a rush to go to work because I'm just here. You run into traffic. You know what the difference is? You run into traffic when you're going somewhere. It doesn't matter whether there's a deadline or whether there's a time limit in which you were supposed to be there or not. You can be going on vacation. You're just trying to get to the beach house. And you're going on vacation, and you run into this long line of traffic, and Waze, your Waze app says, you know, you've hit this long line of traffic, and all of a sudden it adds 2 hours to the time limit. And you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Why do I always hit traffic? The difference is when you realize that you can only be where you're at and you hit the 2 hours of traffic and your Waze app updates and now it's going to be 2 hours longer, you just go, sweet. Here I am, man. I'm here. Regardless of where here is, I'm here. And all the stress goes out the window. It's gone. It doesn't exist. Even if you have a deadline, you have to be at work at a certain time. You're like, eh. So I got a flat. I was on my way to 2 hours away from me, Fredericksburg. I was driving, and Beth and I both had in flats this week. And I think the way it was handled might have been a little bit different. But But I picked up, I pulled into Sheetz. I was about 30 minutes out, and I pulled into Sheetz to take a shit. And, man, no reaction from you guys. You guys have been with me too long. Daggone it. I can't even get a reaction by telling you I'm taking a shit. For those of you that aren't present, that might be watching this, I want you to show up so I can see your facial reactions. I want to see you in shock and horror. I want new people, new flesh, new meat. Okay, back to the people that are here. God damn it. Just kidding. Okay, so I picked up a nail or the stem, or the tire place said my stem went back. So I had a flat. I was pulling out of Sheetz, realized my tire's flat. I pulled back in. I was supposed to be at that place in 30 minutes. I was 30 minutes away. So I called her up. Hey, it's Silas with handy.com. I was on my way. I was going to be there in about 30 minutes. I was going to be right on time. I'm not going to be anymore. So I'll give you a text or a call as soon as I get back on the road because my tire's flat. You know, that sort of thing. And it was super easy. And I fixed my tire, put the new tire on, blah, blah, blah. Went on my way. No big deal. Wasn't in a rush. I didn't get no stressed out. I had a job to do. You know, actually with handy.com, you can get penalized for showing up late. I can actually get fined money. If I get in an accident, they'll charge me $40 for not showing up. So, but you know, no rush, no big deal. And it all worked out. And I lied. I just went to the app and pushed that I was present when I wasn't. But my point is simple, that when you are here, you're always here, man. The most insightful thing you've heard in the last minute was what I just said. You never get in a rush to be where you cannot be when you're here. But we always, when we're in the next, when our mind functions to that place, in that place of what's next, then we're always in a hurry to get to where we cannot be. Do you see this? So the more you train your mind through these mindfulness practices, and you just bring your mind, because you realize that you know that you are presence, that you feel all things, and yet if stress happens in your body, it's because your mind is not reflecting that at all. Your mind is reflecting, I'm in this one place and I need to get to this other place. right? That's called temporal thinking. We're training the mind to stop all that, to just be present. Be here now. There is no next. So this week, we're going to talk about some more sensuality, okay? I'm going to give you your practice for this week. I want you to, again, continue your walking meditation as you see fit. Continue your walking meditation. When you walk into the store, I want to challenge you to slow. I did this last week too, but slow down. Just realize, don't get in a hurry. If you find your pace hurried, take a breath and just slow down, right, Stephanie? Like, it'll all be good. This week, what I want you to do is I want you to practice eating. Mindful eating. So when you eat, every time you eat, I don't want you to eat the way you normally eat. No, probably if you're like most people, you're eating and you eat, especially if it tastes good, like you're wolfing it down, or maybe you're watching TV while you eat or whatever. I want you to take some time. If you watch TV when you eat, I want you to cut that off, and I just want you to sit with your food and eat, and slowly eat, and enjoy the bite. Really take the time to taste it, to feel the textures in your mouth, to pick up the different hints of the different tastes. If it's Taco Bell, you can't really do that because there's only like one taste. It's like dead cat taste. But if you have, I'm kidding. I like taco smell just as much as the next vegan. But if you, I want you to enjoy it. I want you to enjoy the textures, enjoy all the different tastes. Pick up, really be in that moment with your food. Slow down, really chew your food. Don't just swallow, but chew your food. Chew it, enjoy it, taste it. Be with it. Let it be a real sensual moment for you. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this with every meal, but I want to encourage you to at least once a day, when you're consuming something, it doesn't matter whether it's a meal or just a snack, just do this. Just chew, enjoy, really sink into that moment. We're not eating the candy bar to get to the end. We don't need to know how many bites it's going to take to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop. I don't care what the commercial says. I don't care how that owl thinks about it. We're just enjoying every lick. How many licks does it take to get to no, just the one lick. Just two, right? 1, 2, right? No, we're just one, right? Exactly. I know the commercial. That's the point, Stephanie. No, the commercial's wrong. Enjoy licking. Don't bite that shit. Enjoy it. Lick it. See how many licks it takes to get to the end. No, don't do that. What are you doing listening to me? Just one lick at a time. Don't count how many licks it takes. That's ridiculous. So, but seriously, whether you're licking a Tootsie Roll Pop or whether you're eating a full-blown meal, pick one time a day to really slow down and enjoy that shit. Really enjoy each bite and explore it, and breathe while you're doing it. So don't hold your breath while you eat, which is what most people do. Bite while you're chewing, breathe. I want you to all know this. All of you would probably be surprised at how many things you do and hold your breath while doing. Stop holding your breath. I'm dead serious. It doesn't matter. Beth's laughing because the other week I brought up her orgasm. But it doesn't matter whether that's completely real. It doesn't matter whether you're having an orgasm or whether you're chewing your food. A lot of times we hold our breath. We're having an experience, and especially ecstatic experiences, we really hold our breath a lot. Don't breathe through it. It heightens the experience. So while you're chewing your food, whether you're drinking some beer or some wine, Breathe, enjoy, slow down. Think about the moment with your food. So in other words, while you're eating the food, don't be thinking about something else. I'm not saying you have to do this with every meal. I'm just saying while you're enjoying food, just be with your food. So this is called mindful eating practice. I want you to play with that. And I want you to take note of how much more you might enjoy that food or substance that you're consuming. Pay attention. And then next week next week we'll talk, and I want to find out, did you enjoy the food more than normal? Like, did you enjoy it? Was your experience of that food or of that drink heightened? So how many of you, if you practice the sensual touch, when you were really conscious of the touch, was the touch heightened? Was the feeling of being touched, was it heightened? Yes? How many of you enjoyed that? Yes? Oh gosh, Beth's having a conniption fit over there. Okay, that's something that you can continue to do and continue to enjoy. And that what I'm telling you is, even you turned your mind in and you were like focused on just this touch. And you're focused on this is not about going anywhere. When you're eating food, it's not about getting done with your dinner or getting done with your snack. When you're walking, it's not about getting to your destination. When you're driving, it's not about getting to your destination. It's about being present. We're letting go of what's next. This is the timeless realm where aging ends, where joy begins. This is the place where ecstasy abounds. So let's play. Let's fucking enjoy every moment, even here now. Right, Riley? Let's fucking enjoy the moment, right? Right? She needs to say it. No, she can't go to bed until you say we gotta fucking say it. Unmute yourself, Beth. I want to hear it from the mouth of babes and nursing infants.
Okay, she needs you to say it again.
I want you to say, let's enjoy this fucking moment.
Let's enjoy this fucking moment.
Yes! Yes! That's what I'm talking about. Yes! Because this moment is all that's fucking real. Everything else is only existing in your mind. This is where all the pressure, stresses, anxieties, insecurities, and all of that stuff, that's where it's at. It's coming. It's in your mind. It's not real. Isn't it amazing how you could be sitting in one place worrying about something that's not present at all? Isn't that wild? Being insecure about somebody that's not with you, and instead of you enjoying your moment, you're just sitting there worried about what they're doing somewhere else. And insecurity is like rotting. It's like you're rotting away in insecurity. It's awful. And it comes because your mind has been trained to exist in this place of trying to capture, and it attaches and tries to capture and possess things. All of the things that it's trying to capture is conceptual, but then we include all ideas in that. So the mind would look at Dean, and to the mind, Dean becomes a concept. So if I were to look at Dean, my mind creates Dean as a concept. My mind would create and say, student, he's a student. That's now I've conceptualized Dean. Or my mind might say, he's a friend. Now I've conceptualized Dean. And so, if my mind is trying to take and stop, now my experience of Dean is going to be limited because I'm conceptualized him. He's a student or he's a friend. Now I've drastically limited the possibilities of my experience. That's just a concept, but that concept kind of creeps over into my experiential reality, doesn't it? Okay, so where there's no next, there's no past. If there's not a next, there's not a past, is there? if you're still looking for what's next, it's because you believe that you're the narrative that exists yesterday. You're not actually present in the eternal space. You're existing on the psychological timeline. You're existing on that psychological linear timeline. And so my past is who I am. And so if I look at Dean and I think Dean's a student, he's been a student of mine for a long time. Now, if I say that and I'm just using that as a way to communicate with somebody, that's fine. But if in my mind I conceptualize Dean as the longest lasting student that's been in Ekstasis Institute, I don't know if he is or not. I just know he's been around for a long time. I don't know, when 2012 or whenever, right? Kevin came around then too, I think. But I think Dean was a part of that first mentorship, weren't you? The very first thing, before Ekstasis Institute existed, he was a part of that. But if I conceptualize him, I'm limiting the experience. I'm completely limiting that experience. He's more than that, isn't he? Like what Dean is, he's a whole hell of a lot more than a student. And then what happens is if I conceptualize him as a student and he says, you know what, I think I'm just going to take a break from Ekstasis Institute for a while. Then all of a sudden I'm like, well, fuck you, Dean. Like, what are you now? You're nothing to me. You're not my student anymore. You're nothing to me. You know, Austin hasn't been coming to classes for a while. And the thing is, it's really beautiful because he's moving, he's got things going to be happening, and I love Austin. I don't care whether he's a student of mine or not. None of that matters to me. I love Austin. My love isn't dependent upon what he gives to me or how involved in my life he is. I love him. That's just the way it's always going to be. You don't have to, now, if you're not a student, because you guys live in other parts of the country, I might not see you very often. It might limit our experience of one another, but I will still love you the same, I promise. I promise. And you guys know that. My love for you has nothing to do with whether or not you are a student, because that's not what you are. That would only be what you are if I am judging through a past lens. We're all students and we're all teachers. Every single one of us. There's not one of us that's not a teacher. We're teaching every single day. And a lot of the people that we teach, they're not even aware that they're students of ours. And a lot of the people that we teach, we're not aware that we're teachers of theirs. Now, I hope you're becoming more aware that your life is a teaching. But my point is very simple, that you might play lots of different roles and characters, but if they're present roles and characters, then there is no cap or limitation upon them. As long as there's a next, it's because you have a past. If you have a past, there will always be a next. Now, this is powerful because when your mind, whenever you feel or sense the need to be somewhere that is not present, you can go, where did that come from? And recognize that your mind is still holding on to yesterday and projecting that into the non-existent future. And we're playing with and we're bringing the mind into a place of agreement. We want to take the mind that has existed in this psychological time, and we're transcending. We're trying to get the mind to, we're allowing the mind to transcend this illusion. Not that you need to transcend an illusion, but just for communication purposes. We're getting the mind to transcend all this to be able to enter into space. Now, a spaced out mind makes you look a little high, I will tell you, but it's fun there. So, we're wanting the mind to enter into this space. Now, in this space, this timeless space of the now, there's a lot of creativity, a lot of ecstasy, a lot of pleasure, a lot of joy, and things like stress don't exist in this space. Things like stress only exist in linear time, because stress only exists for the story, the believed self. Are you with me? I'm giving you guys some powerful shit tonight. Hopefully you're following. So, all of our practices are about training the mind, right? Every single one of our practices. This is the one thing they will always have in common. There is no next. There is no next. That's good. You breathe to breathe, you step to step, you take a bite to just take a bite. You're in the moment. When you're in the moment, you're just in the moment, man. You're here. There's nowhere else you can be. There's nowhere else you need to be. And then you find that your life becomes a beautiful unfolding. The existence is no longer, it doesn't seem to be moving on linearly as much as it is just unfolding in a timeless way. Now, this is one of the things that really will help you stop aging so much. If you're aging, or if you don't want to age, like everybody doesn't want to age. They're spending billions of dollars on not aging, on products to help them not age. One of the most powerful things you can do to reverse aging is stop living linearly. Because we've numbered our days, and we actually believe that we're the body that's aging and that is numbering the days, that's the primary cause of aging. If the mind is old and starts to get, the more that the mind starts to kind of just live and get set in its ways, the older you'll feel and the older you'll get. When you're constantly mixing things up and changing things and living out on the edge, like my Instagram post today was passion abides on the edge of uncertainty. When you're living in that place of the now, there's never certainty. Certainty is always past tense. There's never certainty. Passion abides in that place of uncertainty. So I don't know what tomorrow holds or what's next. I don't care. This moment is good. And so passion abides here. Like, this is where you'll start to really realize passion. This isn't the kind of passion that the rest of the world knows. Because what they think of as passion is the story, the narrative has to be passionate. If you're going to be passionate about somebody, then it's because you know them, like you've known their narrative, you've known that you fell in love with them, and this them that you're talking about is the person that you now know. What I'm telling you is all that's bullshit. I'm telling you pretty much that what everybody has believed for so long is bullshit. Now listen to what I'm saying. Because passion, this is what's wild, Kevin, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate, and I know Kevin can. When I go and I'm loving somebody and I'm authentically passionate about this person that I just met, them. I'm looking into the eyes of this person and I'm like, my God, you're beautiful, man. I love you. And when I utter these words, they can tell that I'm not just saying something. People don't say I love you. Like, they take the L word very seriously. If you're going to tell another man or woman that you love them, like, that's a real serious thing. Like, you don't just throw that around flippantly, And yet I'll look at this person, man or woman that I just met, and I'll look them in the eyes and I'll be like, I love you. And when I say that, what in the world are you talking about? How can I feel this much passion for this person I just met? They don't know me. You don't know me. How can you say you love me? And then I'm like, if I know you the way that you would want me to know you, it'll keep me from knowing you. It would keep me from seeing you. The moment you start to identify somebody by their past is the moment that you throw true, authentic passion out the window. Because in some way, if there feels to be some certainty with their past, I know them. They're not going to surprise me. It's not a shock to me. This isn't just, I know what I have a certain expectation from Beth. After all, I've been doing life with her for 20 some years or whatever. So I have a certain expectation. Why? Just throw it out the window. We need to reprogram the mind to be present, and that's where passion rises. This is what my desire, my deepest desire is to seek the things that I'm teaching. Y'all want to know what my deepest desire is? The things that I'm teaching, my deepest desire is to sink into the things that I'm teaching you guys beyond imagination, like to sink deeper into these things than I can imagine going. And it doesn't matter. I'm not comparing myself to other people. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter where I'm at on the journey. There's nowhere. I want to sink farther and deeper into this place. I want every time that I look at Riley or at Beth, I want it to feel like I'm beholding them for the first time. I want, like, when I look at Riley, I call her Baby Bird. When I look at her, like Beth just took some pictures of her, I want to look at her and see, I'm like, oh my God, like she's beautiful. Wow, she is spectacular. I love her. Like her attitude and her personality. But if I just go, oh, her attitude and her personality and all those things, that's really cool. Then I'm like missing. I go, well, that's just Riley. Yeah, that's just how Riley is. No, like, wow. So passion lies in this place. True passion, authentic passion, blooms in the now. It really blooms in the now. Like it explodes in the now. So has anybody ever orgasmed not presently? Do y'all y'all don't mind talking about orgasms and stuff like that, right? Have you ever not orgasmed in the now? Like if you've orgasmed, has it been now? Every time anybody's ever experienced anything, it's been now, but your mind sometimes is in other places, correct? Are you with me? Yes, okay. Everything that you're experiencing is truly now, always now. Every experience. You're just not experiencing them all as now, and they're not all that grand because your mind is sometimes other places while you're having the experience. You know how hard it is to stay turned on when your mind is somewhere else? You know how hard it is to stay turned on if you're thinking about football and trying to make love? Yeah, making love. It ain't happening. Right? Hello? Would you go to like a 5-star restaurant and pay $100 for a plate of food and then just kind of turn on cartoons to watch cartoons? No, you want to enjoy that meal. Like, this is a 5-star, 5-course meal. Like, I want to enjoy this meal. I want to sink into this meal. I want to enjoy every bite. When you cut into that asparagus, you're expecting your taste buds to explode in ecstasy. My God, you don't want cartoons to be on in the background. Maybe some light violin music or something, just to set the scene. But we don't, some candlelight or some shit like that. But we don't want our minds to be going somewhere else. We want to set a scene where we can truly be present. That's the point. Why can't every moment be that way for you? That's when you're supposed to look at me and say it can. It should. And so what I'm telling you is this is where passion and joy and things really come out. Really start exploding. They really start being able to be, you start to be able to enjoy things more and have a greater experience, a more enjoyable experience. Okay, so I'm gonna use one more example and then I'm gonna open up to you guys. How many of you would be comfortable walking into, let's say, Walmart and stripping naked in aisle 6? Would any of y'all feel like really just comfortable walking around Walmart naked shopping? Probably not. Maybe the closest would be Kevin, but I think he would probably be, it would be a rush for you, right, Kevin? Like, to do that, it would still feel like a rush?
Yeah, the only thing, I would, it wouldn't even, I don't know if it'd even be a rush. It would just, it would be interesting. The only thing I would, I just would be concerned that, I don't want any officers.
You're going to go to jail, right. Forget all that for a second. I'm making a point. My point is really simple. There are certain people, What'd you say, Stephanie?
He doesn't want to wind up on Facebook as the Walmart scenes.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Everybody wants to get in that shit.
That would be cool. I just don't want to wind up with the officer cuffing me after the fact.
So I'm making a point. We might not be comfortable being naked in public, but how many of you have somebody that you are completely comfortable being naked in front of? Like, you don't even think twice. If you change in front of them, you don't even think twice about it. You know, I can go in my bedroom and change in front of Beth, put on some clothes, be naked in front of Beth, and I don't even think twice about it. Matter of fact, it's not a rush to be naked, right? It's like you have somebody. How many of you have somebody like that where it's no longer a rush or anything to be naked in front of? I'm trying to make a point. None of y'all are even helping me. None of you are even answering me. Yes, y'all have somebody like that? Okay, how many know people that if you were to get naked in front of other people, that it would be a rush? It would feel like, oh, what am I doing? I'm stretching my own boundaries here. I'm violating certain boundaries. I'm going beyond them. Is there the possibility of nakedness creating that rush for you? Yes. Okay. Why? Why is one person, if you were naked in front of one person, it feels exciting, it feels like a rush, it feels sexual, it feels sensual, but if you're naked in front of another person, there's no more excitement on it at all. Why would that be? All in your head. Because you have a past. There's the passion, the feeling of excitement goes away. You know, it's funny. If Beth walks in the room naked, she's like, why do you always talk about this shit? If Beth walks in the room naked, I still am like, oh my God, look at them titties or something, you know? Like, I still make some comment to her. And she'll be like, Riley's like, stop it! Ah! And is that what she's doing? Yeah, she's like, oh my God, look at her. She always does this with us. So, but I still make these comments, and Beth will be like, sometimes she'll be like, oh, whatever, you know, that sort of thing. But I know I enjoy it. Like I'm choosing, like, this is new, this is fresh. I enjoy it. Like, oh my God, it's beautiful. It's not, oh, well, I've seen that a million times. Why? Why would you want to live there in that old, comfortable, stale state? That's what our society has deemed as love. Like, well, if you make it together for 50 years and you got to find somebody you can be comfortable with. I'm not saying that comfortability isn't fun. I'm just saying if there's no passion there anymore, no excitement there anymore, why? Now, you could be comfortable in your own skin enough where you're not really, it's not like a rush, like a rush to be naked or something, a rush like that. That's fine. Like, you can be comfortable in your own skin just knowing that you're not the body and just being chill and not worrying about those sorts of things. Like, if you lived in a nudist colony, you wouldn't concern yourself with those things quite so much, right? Are you with me? My point is, the point that I'm trying to make is the more that you exist away from the narratives and away from the past in the present, the more every moment becomes really exhilarating. It becomes fresh and it becomes new. And that's my heart for you, because I really want you guys to have fun and enjoy your lives. To enjoy each moment to the fullest, man. And I want you guys to, with me, on this little journey, sink deeper and deeper and deeper into this passion, into this ecstasy, into this enjoyment, right? That's why we're here. And for those of you that aren't present, that haven't come, that just watch, or if you are watching this, I would love for you to be here too. So, anyway, I'm going to stop right there, open up for questions, comments, whatever. See what you guys got, and we'll wrap up.
I felt like I had a several beautiful mindful moments today.
Yeah.
But one really stuck out again at Aldi.
Nice.
You know, last class we were talking about a group shopping trip.
Yeah. I don't remember doing that, but yeah, let's do it.
Today I had Josh sticking his head in the freezer with me as we mindfully took out yogurt one at a time to breathe in the air. It was amazing. Even Josh was like, it's like January on the mountain.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's good. It's cool. And this is something, mindfulness, the reason why I wanted to start doing these classes is because, and it really is an art form, so don't ever start thinking to yourself, oh, I shouldn't practice these sorts of things. Or, like your mind, you are artfully training your mind to be able to play and create in that space of the now. But in order to do that, we're having to practice to bring the mind into that place. Because the mind has been programmed to be everywhere but here. It's been programmed to be in the past, and it's been programmed to be in the future. So very few people that you meet on the day-to-day basis are actually present. Very, 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 very few. Matter of fact, you might go through the vast majority of your days and not meet a single one that is very present. Yet this is something that everyone really, truly, authentically wants to experience. This is the reason why so many people are doing drugs and such. Like they want to experience these things. So, for instance, a lot of people do drugs or drink a lot of alcohol, are alcoholics because they're trying to escape, right? What are they trying to escape? Their past. They're trying to escape their past. Their past is not something that they want to remember, so they're trying to let it go. They want to escape it. Mindfulness is the art form of being present where there is no yesterday or tomorrow. This is something that the entire world wants. My God. So I'm saying, because this is powerful. These things, don't ever start thinking to yourself, oh, well, I think I got this or I got that or I've heard this before. We're sinking deeper. If you hear me talk about something multiple times, which you do, I'm wanting to sink deeper and deeper and deeper into this thing. All right. So that's why we're here. And I'm just wanting to express this is powerful, powerful stuff. And I know it's epically changed my existence. In epic ways. And just want you guys to be able to experience those things with me. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was kind of laughing today at the gym. There was a guy I know, and he thinks I'm, too out there, too sexual, and he says, "What are you doing?"
What?
He says, "What are you doing? Cruising again?" And I was saying, "No, well," I said, "This is great." I said, I was saying such and such and this and that, and he said, and he's like my age, and he says, "I'm done with all that." He says, I just jack off on myself and I don't be with anybody, or I'm through with all that." And so I just smiled and I said, "Oh, that's cool." And deep inside I was going whatever. I said, to each his own, but I'm not done. And I was thinking about what you focus on is what you're gonna like. You're gonna.
Oh, sure.
You're gonna, and so I was thinking about. I can stay with you guys. A dick is a dick is a dick. and I've had many, and you think like, oh my God, forget what's the big deal? It's, but you purposely focus on it, and you enjoy it, and you say, wow, this guy is amazing, and it doesn't have to be that he's super big or anything. It's just like, this guy is so amazing, this appendage is like down and all stuff, and so I never lost that. You think after all these years, it would have like, but it's not. It's like new. You wonder like what's going on down there. You want to see, and it's a new experience. So, but I mentally go there because I'm not obsessive about it like some guys. Some guys are like, just size queens and all that. But I like more like want to appreciate it, so I don't, slow down so much.
First of all, I fucking love you. Second of all, how many of you are excited about being in a class where there's complete freedom and no judgment? Right? Because like I'm listening to Kevin and I'm laughing and enjoying what he's saying, and I just get such joy out of what he's saying, and I didn't feel one iota of judgment from any of you guys going towards it, which is quite spectacular, because that's very few places that you could say something like what he just did and not get judgment thrown at you, right? So I applaud everyone. Yes, be present with your whatever dick you're with, man. Like, be present with that shit. Enjoy that shit, whether that's 3 inches or 14. Enjoy it. All of it, like, why not? Why not? What's your alternative? Don't enjoy it. Those are your choices. Enjoy or don't enjoy. So, of course, and you should be present with that dick. Absolutely, I agree. And I think the point that you're making is quite powerful because, and it's like what I was making with Beth, is that you have the opportunity, especially with people you spend a lot of time with, to either appreciate them in a new light, behold, in Christ all things are new, or to see it as an old thing, like, oh well, I've seen that before, I've seen this before, and it's quite a fascinating psychological thing that we do. Is you could look at somebody that is the exact same physique. I could look at somebody that has a very similar physique as Beth, and be like, oh wow, that's sexy. But if I'm living out of old mindset, look at Beth and think, oh well, it's all right, it's okay, it's pretty good. That's what old mindsets do. It has nothing to do with the physique. It has to do with what's new and fresh to the mind. The mind's always looking for something new. When you live present like this, everything's always freaking new. So you're like, look at, in the words of Kevin, look at that dick, or whatever, that appendage flopping around. Like, oh, Kevin, I love you. So don't get lost on the point. The point is simple. Like, the present opens up a whole new world of experience for you, right? A whole new world. So it's powerful. This is really powerful. And you get to choose, the more that you hone the mind in, what Kevin's saying, to hone the mind in on something. Like, if you want to enjoy, hone your mind in and create enjoyment of it. You can actually choose to enjoy things that you never thought you would. If you can make that choice to do it. If you didn't like a certain kind of food, if you go around and in your mind you keep saying, I don't like that, you'll go on not liking it. But if you actually took some time and just pictured that food in your mind and pictured it tasting delicious and whatever, you could actually change the way that you appreciate the food, and you could actually begin to enjoy a food that you never did before. And you really can. Like you actually, what you are, spirit, actually has the ability to do a lot of things in that body. You want to change the paint color? Change the paint color. Can a leopard change its spots? Can an Ethiopian change its skin? Well, sure, you go ahead, you who are used to doing evil, and practice good. That's what Jeremiah says. All it's saying is you get to choose whatever you want. You get to be. You get to create. Slap some new paint on those walls if you want. The house doesn't have to look old. It doesn't have to be tired and boring. It can be fresh and new every day. And when I say the house, I'm talking about your body and your experience of it. So even like, for instance, how many of you guys did the self-love, self-touch mirror experience? Now, when you were doing that, hopefully the point of doing that is to see your body new, to enjoy your body, to appreciate the body, to value the body, to just feel the touch and the sensation, but to value it. When was the last time as I cut my man boobs? When was the last time that you just, like, seriously, just value, appreciate? Your bodies are beautiful. It's the habitation. Enjoy. These are things that in the moment you're able to experience in a higher way than if you're not in the moment. If you're not in the moment, you're probably not experiencing that at all. Right? Okay. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Kevin. And I love your honesty and I love his Instagram, man. Sometimes you'll post things on Instagram, I'm like, my God, if I said that, so help me. Like, if I said something like that, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. That's like great. And he's always posting pictures of naked men on his Instagram too. Have y'all ever noticed that? If you follow his Instagram, it's always naked men. The human body is quite amazing though. It really is. Male, female, whatever. It's quite amazing. It's quite a beautiful, spectacular thing. And we've shamed it way too much, guys. We have shamed it way too much. We've shamed sexuality and sensuality way too much too. So, like, we've allowed our society to shame things that is not only perfectly normal, but beautiful. So, doesn't need to be. Anyway, anybody else? Why are you shaking your head, Stephanie? Are you, huh?
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I saw you shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head?
You said anybody have anything else?
Oh, you were saying no. Shoot, that's awesome. I thought maybe you were shaking your head at your puppy or something. No.
No, she's finally calmed down.
Yeah, I noticed you a couple times being like, shh, telling her to be quiet or whatever.
And she's so much fun. Oh my gosh, I just love her.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. She's your buddy. Every once in a while, if Kobe rides with me somewhere, I take a picture and I send it to Stephanie. Be like, this is my co-pilot. Kobe always wants to get in the van and he goes right up into the passenger seat and he wants to just sit in the passenger seat, sit up like a human being and just like look out the window. Yeah, just chilling, just looking around like, this is the life. He loves, if I look at Kobe and say, you want to go for a ride? His ears perk up. He sprints to the car. He loves going for rides. He loves it. It's always new for him, like. Be like a dog, man. They're great. All right, nobody else got anything? No?
I did want to say thank you for just sharing these practices and how they play out so beautifully. Yesterday, I was in this photo shoot and I would have been really intimidated. Well, for multiple reasons, I would have been intimidated, but the photographer wanted me to move slowly with different props. I'll just say it like that, mediums. And I immediately just clicked. I don't even know if I was consciously thinking this until afterwards, but I just immediately snapped into mindful touch and it was fun, whatever I was playing with, like
Awesome.
leaves or moss or whatever wasn't, the prop at the time. So it was fun. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah. I hope it's yeah. I hope these classes never get old. If you stay present, they never will. But I hope these classes never get old. I hope you enjoy yourself. I enjoy them. That's why I show up every week. I don't do it because I have to. I can quit the classes, quit the school, just like that. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not attached to anything, but I do it because I enjoy it. And I enjoy you guys, and I like being with you guys, and I like seeing the world awaken. So thanks for being here, and I enjoy you guys so much. You bring a lot of joy to me, so I love you guys. Love all of you. Can't wait to be in person. It's going to be so beautiful. And Beth was telling everybody she loved everybody. Did you see that? Stephanie, I love you. It's what we do in our family. One of my favorite pictures is Riley flipping me off. Like, one of my favorite pictures. So, well, guys, I love you guys so much. Have a beautiful night. Talk to you soon, whenever that is. Stay present. Practice that mindful eating this week. I look forward to hearing of how you enjoyed your food. And remember, everything that we're doing is about really, you can talk and use language with being a next, but we're taking our mind and we're stepping away from the next in our mind. We're learning to be more present, bringing the mind more into the present moment. So enjoy that. Have fun with that. I'll talk to you soon. Good night.